Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our coverage at halftime. DeSales women's basketball leading 34-32 over Kings. We have a very busy halftime. We have two guests. Kayla Murawski joins us from the women's track and field team. Indoor track, also runs cross country here. Ran at Nationals this past season. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Give us a sense of how things have gone for the indoor track team this year.
It's actually going pretty well so far. We had a good performance yesterday, a lot of personal bests all over. It's definitely a tough season with the smaller track. You have to run a couple more laps than normal, but it's going pretty well.
Now tell us about your experiences in the fall with cross country and the Nationals and being involved in that.
Yeah, that was incredible. I never expected to make it to Nationals, so I was very honored to be able to go. And that was a really, really cool experience. I've never seen a crowd get so into a cross country race before. Easily the hardest race I think I've ever run. It was against a lot of talented people, but really, really cool. Awesome experience.
What was it like to actually run?
Well, conditions were definitely not the greatest. It rained for like the 2 days before, so it was very muddy. And you were constantly surrounded by people the whole race. It never really spread apart, so hard physically and mentally, but really, really cool all over.
Now, you got to travel for that. I understand the travel is a big part of what you do.
Yes.
Tell us about, you're in grad school now, and tell us about the fact that you do all this travel. You've been to many different countries. Very impressive lifts.
Yes. My travel tends to be either as a service trip or actually a solo travel. So I've done a couple international service trips, some just basic. You know, I went with the service department with the school. I've also done a couple medical missions. So I've been to Peru, Nicaragua, India. Those were all service trips. But I've also done some solo travel. I went to Australia by myself for a month. I went to California, Texas. And for that, I just really like to kind of explore and get to know a different culture, a different group of people. I find it very interesting.
What's the most interesting thing that you've seen recently?
Ooh, that would be really tough. I'd have to think of a couple of different things there. But probably something in Australia. That was pretty recent for me. So something about that trip. I don't know. I'd have to think about that one for a little bit.
Now, you mentioned medical missions.
Yes.
That goes along with your major.
Correct. I'm in the PA program
Yep.
here, so I just started the graduate phase. And that's definitely a challenge. It's been kind of hard to fit running in with that. I'm in class all day, every day. But it kind of makes the running even more worth it. It's like a stress relief for me. So.
How do you manage? I know I've watched cross country. I used to cover it. It's so intense. It's so physically demanding.
Yeah.
How do you manage to handle both that and then indoor season, just kind of running around the track over and over again?
Well, for me, running is almost my time of the day to kind of not think about anything. You know, not think about studying, not think about stressing. It's my time to mentally check out a little bit. And so in a way that almost helps me, but it is definitely challenging. And so sometimes you just have to focus on something else, focus on your breathing, focus on the crowd, you know, just kind of not focus on the fact that you're running so many circles.
Tell us about some of the other key people on the team.
Oh, the team is great this year. We grew in number very largely. So we have a lot of young people on the team, a lot of freshmen, some sophomores too. But they were all ready to jump right into it, and we became one big family so fast, and they're all improving so quickly. So awesome.
Okay, for you, I imagine there are some goals in mind the rest of the way. What kind of goals do you have looking ahead?
For my goals, I don't really have a particular time or anything like that I'd like to hit, but overall I would just like to place well in, you know, the conference championships and keep going forward and see some of my times drop a little bit.
And do you have a travel goal?
Definitely. I would like to, during my next year of school, when I have rotations, I'd like to maybe do one international or something like that.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Kayla Murawski of the women's cross country and track teams here at DeSales University. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for being part of our broadcast today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll break. We'll come back with Bridget Walsh in just a moment. You're watching DeSales Basketball on the DeSales Sports Network.